much more consistent ball strike. And as you were What's up, man? I like your swing. Self-taught, good power, good contact at the bottom of your swing. You can hear it in that first video with the smash factor. Couple things I like in those videos is that you have the shot tracer to show you the line of ball flight. In fact, in that first one with the red ball flight, it really explains a lot on your swing. It kind of has that pull tendency. Not a bad thing if you can play it. The second down the line video you sent me with the boom power, that one was much better. Starting online, going a little straighter. And there are a couple reasons why that one was straighter. I'm going to explain that further, but I just wanted to say I like your swing. Good lower body movement. Couple things where you can probably clean up at the top, though. So starting about what you were doing at the top. So this is your swing here at the top. Good high hands. I like that DJ style. You can generate a lot of speed with high hands. Now that right elbow, it's kind of flared as if you were throwing a baseball. That's totally fine if you understand how to shallow the club from that position. Dustin Johnson does that. In fact, a lot of teachers out there talk about the right elbow doesn't need to be tucked anymore, which is fine as long as you understand how that right elbow has to drop in transition. The one thing that I really want to point out here is that club, how it's across the line. By across the line, I mean, so as I take the club back, there's a line at the top. So there's this line here, which is going to be parallel. I kind of lay my club off at the top personally. Gives me a lot less transition movement. The less movement, the better in my opinion. So what that means for your swing where, okay, my hands and elbows are really low. Your hands and elbows are very high. So what's that going to do? Well, if you look at your club at the top, it's here. So as I transition down, your transition moves like this. Now that's coming down steep. So it's going to create an inconsistent strike at the bottom the steeper the shaft is coming down. Now, I'm not going to have you change a lot up because you don't go take regular lessons. I'm more making you aware of what is going on in your swing and how you can benefit by practicing good habits. So let's go back to the top of your swing. So we're here, right? High right elbow, high hands across the line. If you can shallow that, lay that club off a little bit more. So this elbow is less here and more underneath, as if you were holding a pizza like this at the top. So I get to the top here. Now that club's going to be much less across the line. So what does that mean in transition? Okay, so in transition, that's the top of the swing down into the bottom of the swing. So if I get to this position, holding that pizza at the top, still you can have that right elbow high. Your move, you move there, right? So that right elbow is moving like that, right? So that's how we're getting down to the bottom. Now, if we can get that elbow to, which in that second video with the boom power, you did great. That right elbow comes there. Do you see that drop? Do you see that club shallows out rather than that movement and becoming steep? So that right there will create much more consistent ball strike. And as you were saying, like between your mid to short irons, being able to keep this swing compact is how you make short irons go right where you're aiming. So let's just do a quick recap. Swing's good, lower body movement's good. The only thing we can really clean up at the top is how was our hands here rather than here. So a couple things that I like to think about is that pizza plate. So if I'm coming back pizza plate, then I just kind of let gravity hold me down. I'm not really doing too much with my hands at the top because this is manipulation of the club, which means that I have to then move it and drop it back in. Now, if you want your hands up here, that's fine. There's plenty of good players out there right now that have hands like that. Matthew Wolf, take a look at him on Instagram. He's got a very funky swing where he takes the club out like this, flared right elbow. But if you really want to understand that transition, he goes like that. So you got to learn from here. How do I get from here to there? That will take a little while. But for me right now, really focus on that right hand holding up a pizza at the top right here. And then from there, driving that right shoulder into the hip. Let me know how that goes on the range. And I'll get that painting out to you today. Peace, brother.